Hello and welcome to another installment of ColorManagement.ca's software review. Today we're going to take a look at a program called SpotOn Verify. Now SpotOn Verify is a software program that will allow you to verify and trend any device that can print a color control strip. So that can be a larger P2P target, it can be an ISO ID Alliance target. There's an option of even to bring in your own targets for measurement. So let's take a moment and take a look at it. SpotOn Verify is a specific module for doing the verification. There is also another program from the same company called SpotOn, but this particular one is called SpotOn Verify. SpotOn by itself is a great tool if you want to do press fingerprints and really dig down a little bit deeper into the individual measurements. It'll allow you to see exactly what's going on and which direction the color is going in an individual color. This software will give you LAV values, and it will give you a little bit of analysis, but it doesn't give you the in-depth that the individual SpotOn program does. But it's not designed for that. It's designed to strictly to verify your devices and that they are conforming to a standard or a specification that you have set up. Okay, so let's take a look at how this works. I'll go back to my job list. Let's even start back in the home. So let's start off with settings, because that's where you set up a number of the variables for the software. And within here, we could set up a password to require any changes. I happen to have a demo license for 30 days. I am setting this up to include the substrate. I've got my company name so that it appears in all reports, and I've attached a logo so that whenever I do a sticker or a report, my logo is going on the top. Under the instrument, you can determine which one you're going to use, the i1 Pro or the i1 Pro 2. Those are the only devices that are allowed to be used with this, because they're great for scanning a control bar. You wouldn't want to use a larger ISIS to scan a control bar. It would be quite cumbersome. D50 is the standard in North America. The observer angle is 2, and status T is the North American standard for the density status. Our illumination we're going to work off is the MO, and I tend to set it up to recalibrate after each launch of the software. I don't have the i1 connected right now, but we can go through and look at the options for that. Okay, and under Verify, you have the ability to bring in your own reference sets. You could have them be brought in from an ICC profile. If you have an ICC profile, you can generate a reference set from that or from CGAT's data. Or you can, let me get out of that. This snap is obviously from the data set of the snap for newsprint. Number 5 swap, number 3 swap, and Grackle coded number 1 are all reference sets that are available. But you can bring in and you can edit your own and create your own data sets. These are the ones that are added and included in the program. Again, control strips can be brought in and edited as well. You can create your own control strip. I tend to use the ID Alliance ISO control strip. You could go as far as doing the whole P2P if you wanted to, but it's really a little bit more than you need for standard verification. But again, it depends on what you have. SpotOn has a Verify. They have a couple of different control strips if you only have a small amount of area as well. Okay, and let's get into the tolerances. You can dictate and determine when a warning is set up and when a fail is created. You can target it to various different issues in terms of grayscale or targeting to the G7. I've set up my own with my own custom tolerances, some of them a little tighter. You can edit and create your own tolerance pass and fails based on whatever it is you want, whether it's RGB solid, CMYK, substrate, what have you, and you determine exactly when it fails and when it gives you a warning. You can set up some presets for all the different components. I've obviously added my name in there as an operator. So those are the basics of the preferences. When it comes to using the software, we click on the Verify module. Now keep in mind, this can be set up as a job verification or it can be set up as a device verification. I'm using it a lot of the time as a device verification, but obviously you could assign a job number and a job run, and you could verify that print run, and that would be a job. If you decide you want to do an individual device, then it's just a matter of thinking of job as a device, and that job number becomes the device. So it can be Epson 9900, the job name could become Verify, you would be the client and such. Obviously it wants a little bit more information in there. So let's call this the 9900, let's call this the Verify, let's call this Angus, and let's go to next. Under here we can let's do this one to Grackle, let's use the ISO control strip, let's use my custom tolerance. The device is again the 9900, operator is Angus, and the substrate we can say is a satin proofing. Okay, now we have a new data set that's been brought in, but I don't have any data in there. So let's take a look at another one that's been done before. This is when I was going through and doing the calibration of a Canon 8100. So my first measurement came in and it failed. It gave me a fail on the yellow, and it gave me a fail on the gray balance. So I can see there's a significant issue in my gray balance. Obviously, if you look at the L value, the reference is an 8.1, and I was getting a 15. So my black, if you can see it here, obviously was not dark enough. I had a 6.8 in there, but my color was good. If I look at the yellow, how it failed, it was a B value. It was a much more bluish color. Yeah, I think that's moving towards the blue direction, but it was very different in the B value. Okay, so I failed on the yellow, and as I move through and I'm trying various different things, I got the yellow to come in line. Now I've got a pass with a warning. So I've done a little bit better, but I'm not quite there yet. My gray balance is still, it's better, but I haven't quite gotten it to where it needs to be. And as I move through, I finally get a pass after doing a number of optimizations and color adjustments on the proofing device. So now my Canon 8100 is targeting by G7 to the Grackle color space, and everything is passing. The highest I have is a 2.9 in that area. Okay, and then I did another verification. I still have another 2.9. We can print a sticker, and we can say that this device passed, and that can get put onto all of your proofs, which is great for giving clients that comfort level to know that you are checking and that you are verifying. You can use a Dymo label printer or put stickers through. It's great to put that onto the back of the proof. Okay, so let's take a look at how you would measure a job. When you're in the job verify, all you have to do is measure new, and it's going to add a new measurement. This will be now number 10. You connect your device, you calibrate it, and then you get the calibration prompt that it's okay. Then you would scan strip number 1 and strip number 2. Very simple. Once that's done, you're presented with the screen that I have in front of me, and you'll get a pass or a fail, and you can print the sticker. There's a few things you can do. One is you could make that scan the reference for all future scans. That obviously has its implications, and you would want to think about if that's what you want to do. Maybe you were trying to set up a laser printer that couldn't quite hit Grackle, and it kept failing, but you know that that's the best that it can be. So then you make that the reference, and you say, okay, now I want to trend that and target that, and that's the best that I can get out of that device. So there might be situations where you might want to make a scan a reference. Do you want to make the substrate relative, meaning that we're going to use the substrate's measurement taken from that measurement as part of the targeting? And the other option is to go into reports. We can do a job report, which is going to give you an overview of exactly what was just run on that one job. Or you can get a device report, which is a trending for the last week, for example. You can look at it for, let's say, for the last month. And I'm going to generate a report for this one. There's no measurements for that. I'm going to have to go back further. Verify. Let's take this back 1 year and create a report. So now you can see the 8 measurements have been trended here. The way that we look at this is we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the measurements, and here we have our pass fail for delta. We have a 4 as the fail, and we have slightly below that a yellow, which is a yield or a warning. So we had a fail, a fail, a fail, and then on number 4 we passed. So now from 4 on we're getting a pass for all patches and the delta E. We're getting a pass all the time here. But interestingly enough, here's where we can watch our CMYK trending. The yellow was failing, but then again at number 4, we brought it in line and everything seems to remain fairly stable. But then we got to take a look at what happened to our magenta here, because our solid on this particular one in the hue, not the delta E, but the actual hue of the magenta changed a little bit. Now it stayed within tolerance, but it did get a little bit high. So we want to go back maybe and take a look at why our delta hue went a little bit on the high side. We can continue along and look at our gray balance. Our neutral print density curve got a little bit on the high side there. So it's great. I think it's a wonderful way in which to verify and track your individual devices. Today, it's so essential to make sure that not only are you calibrating to your devices to individual specifications or standards, but it's super, super important that you monitor these devices. And the good news is now with the i1 device, the i1 Pro 2, is a very fast device. It's a very inexpensive device, under $1,000. This software is just under $1,000 and will allow you to have the flexibility to verify as many devices as you have in your location. So there's not a license restriction on how many devices you can add into here. You could do your lasers, you could do your Xerox, your Canons, your iGens, and all of that kind of devices. You can do the press, you can do jobs, you can do Epsons and Canons and all the inkjet devices. So I like it for that reason. It even can be used in the sign market. If you're a producer of signage and you want to make sure that your jobs are consistently being printed consistently, then obviously that would be a good way to do this, and also would help you track any substrate issues. If somebody loaded the wrong substrate, or if your vendor sent you a substrate that all of a sudden was from a different mill, then it would alert you, and it would you get a warning to say that you're all of a sudden your patch information on the substrate is failing. And why is it failing when it has the same name on the box? So lots and lots of things that you can use this software for. I've just sort of touched on it a little bit, but I hope that it helps you. And give us a shout if you'd like an online demonstration of this software, or we can also set you up with a 30-day demo to try it out at your location. Feel free to email me at angus@colormanagement.ca. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye.